Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Adam Ratliff with Adam's So Fun, and today we're going to be stitching out a Dream Big panel. And you might be thinking, wait, I've already seen a video, you've already done this, why are you doing it again? We're doing things a little bit different today, and I am going to be stitching it out using the Pro Stitcher and one of the digitized designs by Wasatch Quilting. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you see all of my videos that I put out. And don't forget to hit the bell icon so that you're notified when those videos do drop. I try to make a new video every week and have them fall on Fridays. So you can go into the weekend with something fun to watch and maybe try on your own. So Dream Bigs. If you don't know what a Dream Big panel, it's a digital print and it's a panel of a big flower. There's a lot of petals. They are very popular to free motion quilt because it gives you kind of defined areas. A lot of people put a lot of feather work and a lot of fun designs. But today, like I said, we're going to use the Wasatch Quilting design from 2018, the November Master Club. So if you're interested in getting this, check out Wasatch Quilting. I believe it's wasatchquilting.com. They're a digitized site. This is what the final design will look like. I didn't print it out. I usually just use my iPad and have it sitting right here. I've seen these. I've had students do these. They look fantastic when they're done. So the theme is green today. So I have my green hot tea cup and my green water bottle, my green thread, the emerald Dream Big panel, and we're ready to go. Let's see, a few things before we get started. I've already went through, I've basted my top down, everything's ready to go there. My side clamps are on, like I could just hit start and go off to the races if I wanted to. So this is all loaded and ready. I did do a loading video on how to load the burrito method with red snappers. I'll put a link to that below. And that's when I loaded this top up. I'm using 2 layers of batting today. Both are Quilter's Dream. One is called Quilter's Dream Green, and it's made from recycled water bottles, but it does have kind of that green tint to it. So I thought this was the perfect time to use it because I have a green top. On top of that, I have a layer of Dream Puff, which is a puffy polyester. It acts like a wool batting, but it's a poly. This is going to be a wall hanging, so anytime you're doing a wall hanging, I don't mind putting polyester batting into it. It actually hangs really nice. It will keep some of the creases out. So that's what we're using here today. And I'm going to end up bringing the camera over here. You're going to see Pro Stitcher, me pushing buttons, everything up close. And we're just going to get down and into it. I am following the directions that Wasatch put with their pattern. So they've broken their pattern up into like 50 different designs. So each colored petal is a different design. So I'm going to do this first petal. This is design number 1. So I'll place that one. This next one is design number 2. So this shows you the designs and what the final flower is going to look like with each design broken out. Then they give you a roadmap and show you like, here's petal 1, 2, 3, 4. And they suggest just quilting by number. So I'm going to start at 1. I will probably set up like a pass and then go in and stitch them. Set up the next pass, go in and stitch it. And it kind of works around to the bottom and then back around in a spiral in the center. So I'm used to doing these from this inside out. That's how I usually free motion quilt them. I'm doing it backwards this time because this is how they suggest it, and I'm just gonna follow directions. Sometimes I can follow directions. Not all the time, but sometimes. So I'm going to get the camera, bring you up close, and we'll get started with this Dream Big. Thanks for joining me, and we'll see you in a minute. Okay, so my first order of business is to plan my attack. Like I said, the diagram, which here's the diagram. I think you can see that. Kind of. I can see you on my watch. There we go. So I'm going to end up stitching 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I'm going to set this first pass. I'm going to set up petals 1 through 6, maybe, and do my C, D, E, and F. So I can stitch all of these out just from the left to the right and have that first pass. And then I can come back, do 7, 8, 9, 10, and then advance. I can come in with my 11, 12, 13, work my way, down and then go back around at the bottom. And I'm using different color threads. So my interior is going to be one color. The next ring is another color. The next ring is another color. So I'll have to see where I'm going to be changing out threads to. I believe that petal 6 is a different color than 5. So I might just stitch this outside row to 5 and then use 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 the color that I have to switch it to. So we'll see. We'll see when I get there. I am using all tones of greens. So if I forget to switch it out or I'm not paying attention, which I forget to switch it out, it should still look okay. I'm just using the darkest color on the outside because that is the darkest area. So I'm doing petal 1 according to my diagram, and that's going to be this outside area over here. So the first thing I'm going to have to do is make my area. So I'm going to bring you in and I'm going to bring you in close so you can see how I do that. And then I will show Pro Stitcher once I open that and we open that design. So I'm going to be moving the camera around a lot. Bear with me. Sorry. But it's going to work the best this way. So we'll see you in a second. All right. So I'm on my Pro Stitcher screen. First thing first, I'm going to set up how I want my machine to stitch. I'm a big fan of stitching at 10 stitches per inch. So I'm going to keep that right there. In the center, when designs start getting smaller, I might bump that up a little bit, but we're going to leave it 10 right now. I'm stitching in crews because I'm using Pro Stitcher, so I'm going to bump this up to like 175-ish. Especially when you're stitching in crews, that's a really nice speed to get some pretty specific points. So when that machine stops a little bit in a corner, you're going to get a nice point every time. And so that's good to go. We need to open our design. So I'm going to File, Design, Open. And remember in Pro Stitcher, anytime you're using Pro Stitcher, you're always working tabs. I'm going to close this really quick. Tabs, ribbon, sidebar. So your tabs are going to give you your options of things to do. The ribbon are your options. And then under those options, you have different applications to use them. In this case, we want to open a design. So I'm going to go to the File tab, Design, Open. And now you can see that I've made a file called Dream Big. This is on my thumb drive. The thumb drive has the word taco on it because this is Taco My Infinity 26 by Handy Quilter. And there's Dream Big number 1. So I'm going to open Dream Big number 1. And this is what that file looks like. So this is the top left corner of this design. So I have the design open here. Now I need to create the area on the quilt where that's actually going to go and stitch. So that petal is this outside square. It cuts over here, comes around. So those are the same shapes. Let's see. That's not going to be close enough. So that's our petal. So what I'm going to do, and what I have to do, I want to come to my area tab, and we're going to multi-point this area. I have the Infinity. So if you look at the Pro Stitcher, when I'm in the area tab, you can see that 2 corner has a star and multi-point has a diamond. So what that means is that when I'm in this function, my handlebars have the same star and diamond buttons. So these two applications, or these two functions, are now what the star and the diamond control. So if I wanted a 2-corner area, I'm going to refresh this. I could hit the star, and I'm just touching it with my left hand, move my machine and hit the star again. And now I have my square area because I just did the star twice, and I did 2-corner and another 2-corner. I don't want that. I want multi-point. And especially in an application like this where we're going around petals, I can use my right handlebar button and I can follow a curve, and I'm just making something up right here, and just keep hitting that button. And now it's giving me my my curve or whatever design I might be tracing, and I don't have to hit the continue hitting the screen. I can just I'm hitting the diamond on my right handlebar, and I'll show it to you whenever I point the camera down again. I'm going to clear that. And so when you hear the dinging, when I'm making that area, that's what you're hearing. You're hearing me hit the right handlebar diamond button while I'm in the area tab and multi-point. Okay? All right, so I moved the camera a little bit. So this petal that you can't see because you're on my screen is coming from here, is going around this outside one into this corner, up, and following this dark line up. I know this is gonna come out to this corner and probably stitch out a little bit, so I'm not really worried about this outside area. I'm gonna start outside my basting line. And is my hand in the way? I'll try to keep my arm out of the way. And I'm just gonna start hitting that diamond and roughly multi-pointing around these shadow lines. And because I have it at my fingertips, I just move and hit it a whole bunch of times. I have the laser light. Oops, I messed up a little bit. I can backspace. I do have the laser light, so I can put that laser light where I want it, or where I think this design is going. And then I'll pop one in the back corner so it kind of makes a full square design. So I'm going to bring you back up to the screen. All right, so here's our outline that I just did. Here's our design. I'm going to hit refresh, or I already did, but refresh brought everything into view. I'm just going to drag and drop this close to my design. I'll hit refresh again. I like to make designs and things as big as I can on the screen so I can see what's going on. So now I'm going to use this drag function. I have the design selected. I can tap drag, and I'm just going to kind of drag and drop it into the box I created. Now, things to notice. I'm gonna hit drop. I know this corner is really good because I can see this corner on my quilt top. It's the line is not subtle. There's a dark point. A dark point right there. So I know that corner is good. So I'm going to try to find something like that. One of the corners that I know is like right on point, and that's what I'm going to strive to hit. So I can put that there. I can see like this comes into these lines a little bit, and it should be okay. I can move it up a little bit because this petal is going to come in and probably connect all of that stuff. And then I'm going to hit drop. So I've now placed my design 1. And then I can clear that area. I'm going to go File, Design, Open. I'm going to pick up Dream Big number 2. And it's going to be right here. And I'm going to open this one. So now that's what this petal should look like. It looks just like the next petal on the top. So that petal is going to be this one that comes in and swoops around. And this was that intersection that I said that I could see. It's dark and I have 2 light petals. I can see that really easily. So now I'm going to area around this next petal. All right, so I'm going to use my diamond and stitch around that next area. Right, now let me bring you back to Pro Stitcher. All right, so here's my design 2. I want to put it right here. So I'm going to drag it close. I'm going to tap on my zoom function. I can drag and drop a box and zoom in just on that point. And then I can hit my drag and drag this around until everything looks like it lines up. Now, some things to check out with this design are this edge, because these pieces kind of line up. If you can see, I'll zoom in a little closer. This right here, let me scroll down. There's a straight edge, and you kind of want those to line up. So this is where I can zoom into this area and using nudge, so I'm going to go to my modify tab, reposition, and I can nudge this to the left and right. Maybe I'll meet in the center. Uh-oh, I'm still on Zoom. I'll nudge them both a little bit in the same directions until those lines meet up, and they meet up pretty good. They don't have to be exactly perfect because it's not going to ruin anything if it's not the perfectly lined up. The thread we're using is going to kind of meld into everything that's going on, so we're going to be okay there. So now piece 2 is done. So now I can go up to my area. I'm going to clear my area. And this little inside triangle right here is Dream Big letter C. So I'm going to file, design, open. And I'm going to scroll down until we get to the C. ABC. Is that right? Yep. I'll hit open. And what's nice about these, I'm still on Zoom. So these select tools, I do what I just did all the time. Once you tap on Zoom, Zoom stays selected until you pick something else. So I'm going to tap on select so I can drag and drop this up there. Now I'll zoom back in and use my drag. And I'm going to just kind of fit it in there. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't, you know, if there's a little bit of gap, I'm okay with that. Remember, it's mine, so I get to be the final judge. I just kind of want to see if everything stays a little bit lined up at the top. That looks good. So I can hit drop. Really important to hit drop, because if I didn't hit drop, when I moved my machine again, it would continue to move them. So now let's pick up design 3. So file, design, open. We're on Dream Big still, and I want number 3. And it is here. Ooh, that one looks fun. And I'm going to find the same petal on my top. So this is number 3. This one that is kind of funky looking, but it looked kind of funky in the picture. So I'm doing the same thing. I'm going to go to my area tab, and now I'm going to make my area around that petal. And you'll see that I tend to do things quick, and I move the machine pretty fast. Don't feel like you have to move it fast just because I did. You can take your time. It's no race. So now I have made my area. We'll go back up to the screen. Here is my area around those, or my rough area, my design. I can drag and drop. I'll zoom in. Now I'm going to actually hit drag and place this design where it looks like it goes. Now I have to see, because this looks like, oh, that's pretty high. So it's going to be about there. And I'm assuming those should match up. So I'm going to place it about there. All right, so now that I have this design placed, I'm going to clear my area so we can kind of see better on the screen without that the purple line. I'm going to zoom into this intersection over here, and things look like they're lining up pretty well. I'm going to run a check though. I'm going to put my crosshairs right at this corner, right at that intersection, or that point, and I'm going to see where it's actually landing on the quilt. And the reason I do this is because this petal is not very defined. These are very defined petals. I can tell where the outside of this petal is, but up here, it's not super defined. There's a lot of shading going on. So as long as it looks like it should be there, which it does, I'm going to say that the design is right and that my area was not right. I might check a few other things. You know, there's a point right here, and that looks perfect where this one is. You know, are these kind of staying on the line on this side? And they are. So we're good. Like this I believe is good. Okay, so we've checked this corner, and we checked this corner, and this side going up. Everything looks good. We need to put in our little missing piece, and that's going to be D. So I'm going to come up and hit File, Design, Open. I'm going to open piece D. And for these, because we have areas around it, I don't need to go in and make an area. I can see where those designs are lining up. With my select tool selected, I can put my finger on that design and move it somewhere close, just so I can zoom in and see what I'm doing. And then I can hit my drag. And anytime I'm doing small movements, I always hit drag and I move my machine, because I can get smaller, more accurate movements by moving the machine than me trying to get my fat fingers in there. Once I like the way it looks, I can hit drop. Something to note here, I could move that so all of these bubbles hit those lines. I'm not going to do that, just in case maybe something shifts, you know, the quilt top shifts, there's a lot of batting in here, the top shifts a little bit. If I never hit a line, I don't ever have to. If I lined this up so all of these bubbles barely hit those lines and then it stitched and they didn't hit, it'd be super noticeable, and then someone could be like, oh, you messed up because these things didn't line up. So this is my kind of my, not my foolproof pan, but my little buffer zone. I gave myself a buffer zone on purpose so that it still looks good if nothing touches. All right, so now we have these lined up, and I have to get number 4. So file, design, open, and we'll open petal 4. And I guess it would be in the 40s area. And we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to tap area. We're going to go down to our quilt top. And petal 4 is this little piece here. So I can come in. Again, I'm just hitting my right handlebar, the diamond, and I will make my area. So this is another part. There's a petal here somewhere, and it's not super distinct. So I'm just going to pretend I know where it is, and then let the design tell me where it should be. So now I have made my area. We'll go back up to the quilt top, or to my Pro Stitcher. I'll bring it close so you can see. How do we do this? There we are. So there's my piece 4. I have selected. I can come up and then zoom in. And I want to zoom in really big, or as big as I can go. And then I want to drag. And I'll come and drag this in. And remember, I said that that line wasn't very distinct. I'm going to let the design align for me. So this is pretty good. Now I'm going to come in and I'm going to clear my area so I can see this a little better. Maybe zoom in. And these don't touch all the way. So I could actually modify. I'm going to reposition and use my nudge functions. And I assume these should be lined up pretty well. So I'm going to nudge this just a bit. Maybe tap on, zoom back in over here. I think that lines up pretty nicely, but I want to come in here and I'm going to select this one, and maybe this needs to be nudged up just a tad. That looks really good. I can scroll up. These don't touch perfectly, but I'm okay with that. Again, if they don't touch, they don't have to touch. And piece 4 is done, and I can pick up 5. So let's look at our top really quick. So there's a few things going on right here. This is piece 6. This is piece 7. Piece 5 is going to be this one. And then these outside areas are E and F. So how do we do this? How can I do E, F, and 5? Because 6 is going to be a different color. So I don't want to stitch that one out right now. I could set it up. You know what? Let's do that. I'm going to actually set up 6, but I'm not going to stitch it. So whenever I go in and select the designs I want to stitch, we're not going to select this one, but it'll be set up and then we can use it to work back 7, 8, 9, and 10. So I'm going to do the petal around 6, place 6, and that will help me place 7 and 5, E, and F. So I went to my area tab so I can make an area. And I'm just going to start right here. And I'm going to area around. And I think 6 has a really funky shape. 6 actually cuts over this. So I'm going to hit clear and I'm going to restart that area from this corner. All right, so let me show you what my area looks like from this. So that's my piece 6. So I'm going to hit File, Design, Open, and I'm going to open piece 6. And I have Select selected so I can drag over. And then I'm going to zoom. So this is one of those instances where it's going to get a little weird because it's not really touching anything. It only comes into contact in that little corner, and this little hump should connect to that line above. So I'm going to hit drag, and these connect right there. So you can see that this petal is quite funky in how it's kind of aligned. Again, there's a lot of places in this petal that you can't really see where the outside is. So they kind of decided that they wanted it to look like this, and that's okay because they made the design. So I'm going to go up to my area and I'm going to clear it. I'll zoom in. I still have drag on, so I have to be careful that I don't move my machine because it's going to move the design. And actually, I wanted the design to move right to that place anyway. So I'm going to hit drop. So I'm going to leave this piece 6 here for now because I'm going to do my E, F, and put in petal 5 and see how everything lines up. So we're going to come up to File, Design, Open, and I'm going to open E. And I know that E is supposed to fit right up here in this corner. So again, I'm going to my select tool. I'm going to drag and drop it. I can zoom in. And now let's see. Oh, I want to hit drag. And I'm going to place this in here. Kind of making sure things are lining up correctly. That looks good. So I'm going to hit drop. Now I'm going to hit Design, Open, and I'm going to open F. And same thing, F should fit over in this corner. And I'm still on zoom. Let's hit my select tool. Come up here. I'll zoom in and drag and drop. And if you look at the design on this petal, you can kind of see that those bubbles will fit in there somewhat. So I can hit drop. And then now I'm going to go back to my area tab because I want to put in the area around petal 5, which is this petal out here. So I will File, Design, Open. We want petal 5. And drag and drop. Zoom into what we're doing. And now I can hit my drag button and put this where things look like they line up. And it looks like these two should line up over here. So I'm going to hit my area because we're pretty good. So I'm going to hit area and clear. And down here, if I zoom in, these two pieces should connect. So I'm going to hit modify and nudge this design over until those two look like they work. You can see these spikes look really good. Maybe I nudge this back over one. There's a little bit of overhang here, but it's going to be pretty small. And that line to the right looks like it's going to line up good. So I'm going to go back because the bubbles we just kind of dropped in. So I'm going to come back. I will zoom in and see how everything lines up with those bubbles. And they look good. I might move them up just a tad. Again, if I don't hit a line, I don't ever have to, so I'm just going to nudge them up just a smidgen. And now I'm ready to stitch my first pass. So again, I don't want to stitch this petal. I want everything to stitch but that petal. So I'm not going to select that. I'm going to come down to our selection tools. This is select none, select multiple, and select all. If I touch the middle one, which is select multiple, I can pick each design, working my way across. I missed those bubbles. And only get the designs I want. So now I have the design selected. I'm going to hit this button to turn that off. I always forget to turn it off and then I end up selecting other things. I'm going to go over to our sidebar. I'll bring this so you can see it a little better. All right, I'm going to hit in our sidebar, I'm going to hit workspace. It's going to show me that group and all the designs I just selected. And now I'm going to look and see how they're stitching out. So it's going to stitch Dream Big 1, then my C unit. Oops. I got to tap that group again. Dream Big 1, then my C unit, then number 2, then my D unit, then number 3, number 4, my E, F, and then 5. And you can see when I select a design, it turns red. So that's the one that's selected. So this is the order I want it to stitch in. We did not select 6. So I'm going to go and stitch this out. So a few things I've basted. So I'm going to move my machine over here. That's all ready to go. So I have basting stitches and I want to take the basting stitches out of the areas that I'm going to stitch. So I'm stitching this first petal first, and I'll do each petal kind of one at a time. There's not a ton on the outside because I have that outside line, but how do I do this? I use a clover awl, which has a little bit of a hook and a point, but the point isn't sharp. It will go into fabric, but it's not going to rip anything. So it's not a seam ripper. It's not going to rip my fabric or cut my fabric. And then these are the new Easy Grip Handy Quilter scissors, and it has such a fine little point there. I love to use these to get my snips. So I'll come into this design, and usually I use my awl, and I pick up a thread. I hope you can see this okay. And then I snip it. And then I come over to the other place where I want to go, pick up a thread, and I snip it. And I can get just one of my little snips in there, maybe. All right, so then I snip it. So then I can use my awl and just come in and take that thread out. When I baste at 5 stitches an inch. I can stop needle down at 5 stitches an inch, so that's why I baste it. The Handy Quilter machines do have a basting stitch function, but you can't stop needle down, and I like to stop needle down, so that's why I do it. But now I've taken that whole thread out. If I come over here and pull the thread, it will pull up the bobbin, and I can just kind of come in, snip that bobbin here. So now I have a bobbin, and which you can't see. I can barely see it because it's a bottom line. But now I have a bobbin and a top thread here. I'll come onto the other side, pull up the bobbin. I have a bobbin and a top, and I can leave these threads longer. It's okay because I'm not going to stitch over them, and I'm going to actually end up ripping them out at another point. So now I'm ready to stitch out number 1. So I'll stitch out 1, do my little insert. When I get to number petal 2, I'll rip out some basting stitches, and I'll probably rip out, can you see that over there? I'll probably rip out all of these at the same time, stitch out those pieces, these pieces, come over this outside, and I won't have to rip out again until I get to number 5. All right, so I have the design set up. It's ready to stitch out. I think I will stitch this out. I'll do like maybe a fast forward so you can kind of see a stitch. And in this video, because this one's already starting to get long, and then come back and we'll do like video 2 of the series. But we just set up what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 petals and 5 outside pieces. It didn't take that long. It just takes long because I have to move the camera back and forth. But you know, if you're at home, you can get this done really quick. Yeah. The other thing I want you to notice, I'm not hitting skew. These designs are meant to fit this, so we shouldn't have to go in, maybe nudge them, maybe if something got off you can shrink one or move it a little bit, but you really shouldn't have to go in and skew any designs or make them fit. They're designed to fit. The only time you would have to make them fit is if you do one of the other size Dream Bigs. So if you're doing the huge one or any of the smaller ones, you'd have to shrink them. But for the regular size Dream Big, they all should fit pretty good. So thank you for joining me. Don't forget, follow me on social media, Adam's So Fun. And that's SEW on Facebook and Instagram. You can check out adamsofun.com, where I post when I'm teaching and virtual events. You're already on my YouTube channel. Make sure you like and subscribe. You know, give me a thumbs up, please. And we'll see you back for video number 2. Bye.